geekversus.com.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Weekly Games Chat. I am your host, Chris, as always joined by my co-host, Sean.
Hi, how's everybody doing today?
Now these two young virgins are like completely exposed. You're like, what is this thing?
I watch it the whole time.
I know.
We got a new setup. We're not really new setup, but I think we're watching ourselves be recorded in like 4K goodness.
Maybe someday it'll lead to something else. Who knows?
Just our voices in 4K.
It may be a setup for the future. The year 2000.
The future.
The future. And John.
Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man in the moon.
The song was like from 70, I think, 1?
Something
70?
like that. It's all in the
Crazy.
70s.
My son misses me tonight.
Does he?
Yeah.
It's all your fault.
Yeah.
Well, your mom's fault.
Talk about my mom again. I will end you.
Hey, Miss Pat's awesome.
Yeah, so
But speaking of being a virgin, just be gentle.
Okay.
speaking of my mom, on the way over here, I get a call, and this is, I need you guys'
Use guises.
I need you guys like, I want to know what you would do or think about this.
Okay.
Shut up, Mom.
So like 2 days ago, I'm pulling in my neighborhood, and off in the other, like if you were coming from the other way to my neighborhood to turn in that turning lane, there was a car just sitting there.
Oh.
No,
Very,
I'm out.
Very weird.
Call the U-Haul company. I'm out.
Sitting there, right? I go, okay, mental note, car. On the way over here, I get a call from my mom, and she goes, "Hey," so her car, she has a Ford Explorer, and it makes a distinct noise when she turns in the driveway.
This is a very unique car.
She said, "Well, it's not unique actually. It's
Thanks, Sean. Okay.
but that noise she heard out of her window."
Okay.
And she thought to herself, what is Sean doing with my car? I thought he was already gone because everybody else is in the house. She looks out, and there's an exact version of her car
Hence not unique.
bouncing out the driveway and about to leave. And then she notices, like if you had driven past my house, what appeared to be the same white car from 2 days earlier.
Huh.
So, but Mom could not confirm it's the same white car, but in her mind, she thinks maybe the white car from 2 days ago saw Mom's car.
Okay.
And called Friend and said, "Friend, you won't believe this. There's a car just like yours sitting here." And she thinks it's because possibly theft or something on her car that they need for their car that they can't find anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so, but I said, "Mom, it would now, this was like 6 p.m. Eastern that these people would have driven or pulled in the driveway." And I know that, with break-ins and people they're brazen these days, if you will. What would you guys say, or how would you have handled that? I told her, I said, the most you can do is maybe call the non-emergency line and try to file a report
Sure.
to just say, hey, just in case. But I said, you're also going to be flagged because there are thieves out there who try to call the same non-emergency line and file a, hey, just in case in 2 days my car might get stolen, and then like they fake their theft. I said, so you're going to be on that too. And and my mom, she's like, well, I don't care, I'm being honest. What would you guys think and or do? I said, look, it could actually be just chance that somebody pulled in our driveway.
True.
From maybe found the wrong neighborhood, maybe didn't read their Google Maps correctly, and at the same exact time a white car that we can't confirm was the same white car just happened to be coming up behind them.
Very true.
Are you suspecting that the problem would be a break-in or the theft of a car? Or do you know?
I don't think any. Well, our house, we have people there all the time.
Do you have an alarm system?
We have an alarm system, but we have people.
What's the code?
1, 2, 3, 4. Password.
Yeah, admin and password, dude. Duh.
0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
But she thinks that it could be they just want to take the whole car and get what they need out of it. And I was like, well, Mom, if they do think that, you own the car and you have insurance. But it's my car. I understand, Mom. But what do you guys think? Like, for real, I need input.
I don't know.
Is that weird?
Yeah, it's a little, but I mean, if they haven't actually done anything.
I mean, let's say they were looking at the car to steal it and they pull up and they go, not this one.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's a really weird thing to say that. I would keep tabs and make note of it. And if I started to see them continually come back around, I would be aware to report them.
You say that now. Tomorrow morning, I go outside and there's like there's a hubcap. Car is gone.
Shows up in a parking lot 3 weeks later, just completely stripped.
Who is this relevant to? Is it going to be your mom that's going to most of the time see it? So it's going to be your mom that's going to say, saw it again.
It actually, I saw it the other day because, I do get to work from home.
Call a family meeting.
On
Ish.
In
a way. Call a somewhat family meeting. Say, here's a pen and paper right here. It's by the door. Every time you see these vehicles,
note it.
Here's the description of the vehicle. Here's what it is. Note the time, the date, all that stuff, and the description
I said,
of
Mom,
the car.
we live in an age where you have a portable camera on you all the time.
True.
Take pictures.
That's all you got to do.
She went old school and raced downstairs to run out to the driveway to confront, like, what are you doing? She just, in her mind, this is too weird, too coincidental.
But with the police, in order to combat, and this is not a knock on the police, it helps. They get calls and calls and calls like this all the time. To combat the suspicion of paranoia, and like my father always says, just because you're paranoid does not mean they're not out to get you.
Right.
Sure.
So just log the stuff, and otherwise get a sign and put it out in front of your yard that says, I will shoot you. And then every other night, go out there
and just shoot the gun
in the front yard and just clean your shotgun. If you don't have a shotgun, go to cleanyourshotgun.com.
We're good on that.
I think in Alabama you don't even need the sign. I think you can literally just sit on your property and do where the heck
48% of people and households in Alabama own guns anyway.
Yes.
So that's like 1 in 2, John.
Yes.
Am I 1 in 2?
Yeah. But when you have a log of that,
it'll help.
They'll take you seriously, and then there's validation to start looking into it and linking it to other people who've said the same thing.
We say all this, and then like I joked earlier, but then what's going to happen is it's an immediate theft, and Mom was right, and that will be. I will find some comedy in it in a way, just because I do that in all situations. But I just wanted your guys' take on it.
No, this has been a great episode of Weekly Crime Chat.
I don't think there's any preventative measure you can do. All you can do is prepare for the inevitable.
This is true.
Inevitable, but prepare for the incident. You can't really prevent the incident.
Yeah. Really, I think the best you could do is just, as he's saying, maybe not like go out in the yard with a gun, but it's like
that was a joke.
Going,
was it
basically maybe the kinds of things that would deter someone? So like when you're at home, maybe. If you're when you're working, if you're by a window, have that window open and make sure you're visible so that they know you can be seen.
And I do that stuff, and like I said, we're so sporadic anyway. If our house happened to be one that people wanted to look at to do something, there's no possible way they'd see a schedule. Like between myself who works at home, my mom who's coming in, going, doing weird things, like running to the place where we drop off our trash. And my wife, she's
your wife.
Sometimes she's at home at this time. Sometimes she's on this time. And then there's other times she's at a friend's house to whenever, and she's coming home.
Sean, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Siri, remind me to switch cars when I'm watching Sean's house. Okay, I'll remind you.
Oh, wait till you brought up Siri. Wait till the bombshell I got for you later during the Twitter news. Wait for this one, guys. That's called a tease.
Hey.
What's it wrapping up to?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure. Yeah.
Unless everybody wants to bore our audience with
crime stories
how
again?
We've been doing over the past week.
No, I think we need to ask Chris a question for sure. That way I can just watch your guys' voice on the thing. We've already been going for almost 10 minutes.
Hey, man, this is good radio.
You see why I always like move y'all? They're always like, why are you moving me along? It's like, because I can literally see how long you've been talking.
Because you're long-winded Larry sometimes, and you don't realize it.
Yeah, I have to make up for the fact by cutting you guys off, so I have more time to be long-winded. Duh.
Long-winded Larry.
That's a pretty good one.
Long-winded Lockard.
Okay.
Anyway,
so they all know my last name now.
Everybody's known.
Yeah, probably.
Listen.
I may have mentioned you on Twitter.
I will.
Early last week or the week before, I don't exactly remember.
Yes.
Microsoft reached out to me through email and said, we owe you a refund
Oh.
of so-and-so dollars.
And you verified this was
So
from Microsoft.
Yes. So
Okay.
I went in,
How did you verify?
claimed the refund,
Virus.
said I wanted it submitted this way.
Okay.
That being said, has that ever happened to you? And how long should I allow it to take?
I have gotten not where they've reached out to me, but I have had a refund done through them, like when I had an issue with 2K one time, and basically it looked like they were charging me for something, or I had bought something and then it had been deducted by my card, but I never got it. And eventually I got to the point where they were not resolving it, and I was threatening to start to go to consumer bureaus, which you guys can do if you ever have a problem with that. Just say, hey, I'm going to write my local consumer bureau, and they will gladly submit that complaint to them to review.
What's a bureau?
Bureau? It's a bureau.
My question,
But to get to it, it takes a couple of days usually for it if it's going to an account.
it does. It's not. It's going to my Xbox Live account.
Yeah, it might take them a minute. It's just whenever they process
It's
it.
been over a week.
Then I would probably write back maybe and say, hey, actually,
They're
I would check the actual email and the language and see what they say their standing operating time is, because usually that's outlined somewhere.
It really wasn't.
Yeah. Well, go to their website. There's probably something out there. It's just, I've looked at it before, but it's been a year and a half to 2 years.
One might say,
It's taking a year to get a credit?
No, I'm saying that's when it happened.
Oh.
So
I was like, bro.
it took me about 2 months to get resolved.
it's like $77.
Ooh, nice. What did they
don't-
say? What for?
I don't really know. It's like they overcharged me for.
Was it the
a
Prince of
re-up
Microsoft?
For, a re-up
You
for,
need to look at your credit card bill more, John.
That actually, what he's doing is saying that.
Is this weekly financial chat now?
No,
Yes.
most of us would notice $100, close to $100.
For instance, like last week,
It's
Do you have any idea how rich I am?
I was going to say
We
the
know.
same thing. He's in a different boat than us. I'm on your side on this, okay? So first of all,
Jeff Bezos is a peasant.
calm
compared
down.
to me.
Calm the down.
And you're a choir boy compared to me.
But
ooh, peak.
here's the deal. He didn't peak.
He went Reds.
The red's fine because it's
The
still,
Reds on there is like a false pretense.
Exactly.
I just watched. You just went red.
Yeah, you did.
I know. I'm not sure
Red.
what that
Red
badge
again.
is on.
Red again.
Red.
Yeah.
Red.
I've had
But
to get used
I would
to it.
call them, John, because for me, even like a week is weird.
I want to speak
To
to
Phil,
Phil right now.
he's going to transfer you to billing.
Yeah, he'll probably say, "Who is this?"
John? No problem. Hey, thanks for calling.
John
just
with
like-
weekly game chat.
Look, I'm the person that I noticed because I knew it was coming up, but I did not keep track of it, which was my own fault.
Don't worry about it.
I got billed for my PlayStation Plus subscription, and that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, "Why do I all of a sudden have a $55 charge from?"
For
from
the whole year?
PlayStation? Yeah, because I do it annually, and usually what I remember
hide
to
money.
do is in February I go out and I buy like one on Amazon for cheaper prices, but I just didn't think about it and I forgot to turn off auto renew.
Most of us do that at Black Friday.
Luckily, though, we got a nice little windfall, so it really didn't phase me at all. I was like, "Pff, money in the bank." Moved on with my life, and then did whatever I do, aka drink beers with Jeff. Besides that, everyone else have a good week.
Since last time we talked, I think I had a good week.
Penny's really tense right now because of this new setup. I have such an ability just to get up and move to be like, you can't do that. Whereas before it was kind of more, I would let things go because I didn't want to ask you guys to have to get up. So I'm kind of happy about that.
Yeah.
We just want to, we're just kind of like, it's a Monday and it's later than when we usually
They
record.
don't know that, and it's only like an
Yeah.
hour later,
I know.
Chris.
2 hours. 2 hours.
Yeah, I claimed the refund on February 15th.
Okay. Yeah, definitely check.
2 weeks is my boiling point
Yeah.
on resolving like that kind of problem.
Maybe they would do their posting on the 15th and the 1st.
I don't know why you owe me this money, but I want the money now.
Or they could go, sir,
Or you've been hacked.
we never reach out to you for owing you money. We want your money. I'm erring on the side of it was probably fraudulent.
Oh, it wasn't.
Well, I don't know the deets. You didn't give me the deets.
That's because I was talking.
We've got his number? Yeah, we got the number?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're good.
Okay.
But I mean, if it was a legit transaction, a legit refund, 2 weeks, John, You know what? Tomorrow at work, just go ahead and give them a call.
Be like, hey, Phil, what's going on?
Microsoft billing would probably be what, West Coast time?
I'm sure. Usually, like most of the.
I got a new segment idea that we're going to run right now.
What?
Let's have John call Microsoft on air.
Oh God! Actually, Microsoft isn't that bad because you can do the thing where you tell them like, "Hey, here's my number," and they go like, "Well, it's going to be about 20, 30 minutes. We'll call you."
Yeah, a lot of places get that now. It's pretty.
You know who doesn't do that? Sony, because I had issues with them on something one time, and God, I had to sit there for 2.5 hours before I finally got a refund.
Well, don't have issues. You know who's never called Sony? This guy.
Ooh, okay.
So that's pretty. That's them.
It's cool. I didn't want to see it. Don't worry about it. Just show that guy.
Yeah, I would go to their website and just see if there's a guidelines on refunds and how they handle them.
I did.
Okay.
Hey, did you reset the router before you called us?
Huh?
Did you reset the router before you called us about your internet problems, sir?
Did you try turning
Do you
it
not know
off
what that
and
means?
on?
You're looking at me with a blank stare.
I always look at people with a blank stare.
Yeah, but that's because of other reasons. See, the joke is, John, when your internet or something like that's messing up.
Did you try turning it off?
I just want to point out.
And you go, no, I never thought about doing that prior to this call, sir.
I just like to point out we've spent the first 15 minutes of the show talking about your mom's paranoia about being robbed and John's waiting for a refund.
Chris,
so this is great.
What you're missing out is that people love the banter.
Welcome to Weekly Timekeepers Chat.
There you go.
Of three guys who are friendly and they
Friendly?
feel like if there's three of us at a 4-man table, they feel like they're that fourth man. And then when you
But the board's the fourth man.
But when you D up and point the obvious and tear down the fifth wall,
there's a TV. That's the wall.
and now they're going, oh yeah, these guys, they're.
See, one day he's going to joke and it's going to come out because John is terrible at managing his drinks.
He's holding a bottle of water over our mixer.
Yeah.
Which would be terrible.
Terrible.
Well, I mean, I tell you what.
I tell you what.
I got my feet ready and
are we ready to do this?
I just pushed the button, so I'm ready to pivot.
Okay.
The topic, I couldn't remember what it was.
Well, you're about to find out.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I knew what it was. I just couldn't remember the title.
Terrible.
Well,
you literally wrote a news story for it last week. You could have actually written another one this week.
I mean, it was last night. I was like tired, and I just couldn't remember. I didn't feel like looking it up.
Slacker.
You do that there?
I did the show notes last night, with the exception of one thing.
Ugh.
We put time in.
First of all, dude, don't. Second of all, why would you not just do it at other places?
Like what?
Hey, you know what I did last night?
Begins with a W and rhymes with
Irk.
Once upon a time, I could do
Jerk.
that. Yeah.
But then our department doubled in size, and it's
so you took it in half, right? And then doubled it.
I don't
Double it. You got to double it.
Mike Slade's laughing right now. You're welcome, Mike Slade.
You're welcome.
Tell me about this game.
Okay, let's pivot.
Let's do it.
Topic time. The topic is Kingdom Come Deliverance. Dun dun.
Why are you looking at me like
dun? Dun dun dun. They're like, we don't know what this game is.
People know, dude. I'm going to tell you now. This game is. I can't wait to hear your take on it. I want to know what you did because it's a unique looking game.
Yeah,
there's nothing in it.
It's sold 1 million now. It passed 1 million in sales. So for a game that is literally the first game from a studio that was a Kickstarter campaign, I gotta say
I know
they've got to be ecstatic at the return they've had so far on this.
Witcher 3, right? That's a small studio.
This is much smaller.
I was going to say because that's one of your favorite games from a studio that you say that, like when we saw them at the award show, they put their heart and soul out, and they're very thankful that they got the kind of response they did and things like that.
For sure.
So I'm wondering if this kind of studio, being extra small and even smaller than that, they got a good return on what they did as far as sales go. But
I think they definitely showed that there's a market for what they presented because there's really nothing like this out there, which is the biggest credit I can give it.
In what way?
Yeah, let's hear it, Chris.
Tell us more.
So
here we go.
In thinking about this game, I thought about the fact most games today, they take some form of RPG elements out there.
And for the audience, that is role-playing game.
Yes.
Yes.
Those are such as like when you play NBA 2K, there's a whole entire leveling progression system that you go through. You can choose your abilities, what you want to do, what you want to invest in, how you want to build it, how you want your character to look and be perceived in the world. That's up to you. When you play something like Assassin's Creed or Far Cry now, there's just tons of customization for the skill sets that you want to focus on as a gamer. When you even played Zelda last time, you added something where you had a leveling system in form of stamina. And as you did that, you were able to, in turn, go places you might not have been able to reach, or you could get gear sets that gave you specific properties that maybe would allow you to do certain things otherwise you wouldn't have been able to do before. So, it's something that's spreading everywhere, but the thing that ties them and just about every core RPG out there, I think, is that the idea is with most RPGs, there's a suspension of disbelief that whatever you're going into is something that you can't be most likely in real life, and that not only you're going to be that thing, you're going to be the best of it. You're just going to be inherently better than 90% of people around you in this game world, right? If you're Zelda, you have the Master Sword. When you're playing NBA 2K, you want to be the guy who can dunk between his legs just like LeBron, even though I think I could get maybe about 2 inches off the ground in real life.
I thought you were going to say you had the basketball of light.
Even like, think of like, Assassin's Creed, Bayek, right? You're not just some guy and he knows who it is.
Bayek is.
Yeah, he's the main character. He's a magi. But anyways, when you play that game, you're not a citizen of Egypt. You're better than everyone in Egypt. No one can take you down. You can scale a building like it's, a second thought.
Like it's 1999.
Exactly. Prince.
You can scale buildings in
1999.
Rest in
peace.
They're angled at 45 degrees.
Yes.
Pyramids?
Yeah.
Fun fact.
So it's not that hard.
Yeah.
I
think it's more the temples.
I will pay for us to go to Egypt and for you to try to scale a pyramid.
That's a good
for that?
That's a good challenge.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
With the caveat to where if you fail, you have to pay me double.
Double it.
Okay, you come up with that money.
It's there. But we also have to worry about terrorism, I think.
No.
That little thing.
The Middle East.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jeez, guys.
But every now and then you get... Every now and then, and this is where what kind of at the crux, what Kingdom Come Deliverance aims to do that's different than, I would say, the overwhelming majority of games, not just RPGs, but games in general. You get a game that isn't so concerned about making you the most powerful person to put you as some huge suspension of disbelief as far as what you are naturally. It aims to transport you somewhere that you could never be, given time and the way that works, but instead to see and appreciate what a way of life was and how hard that way of life is, and maybe that you should be somewhat thankful for the world you currently live in and the situation you live in than the ones that millions of people inherited, ages ago. And that's kind of where this game was built from. The idea was originally when they were creating this game, this was the team that was on 2K Czech, and they worked on the Mafia games. And they basically went to go form this studio in 2012, Warhorse, with the specific idea of they wanted to create an RPG that was tied to history, that was of their country, and was a real, at least somewhat, as real as you can get with it being an enjoyable game, representation of what medieval life was during the Bohemian Empire in was now modern day Czech Republic. So,
Quesh.
Yes.
So, are you saying that this game sort of some directors of film want you to sort of experience the misery of a time period?
Yeah.
Where you go out of a movie going,
yeah, it's definitely a major part of this game.
So do they balance that with some enjoyment, but also make it
for sure?
Or are you sitting there feeling?
No, there's a lot of
the misery of immersion.
Yes,
so immersed in their misery.
No, I wouldn't say that. But it aims to show you that this era, especially, just how easy it was for someone who was not noble for their life to go from, oh, okay, it's another day, to pretty much just hell. And there's really nothing you can do about it or control about it because you are just a serf in Europe and you have no rights.
What's a serf?
A serf is a servant in the medieval.
Why don't they call them just serfs?
I'm thinking.
Well, service comes from serf.
Thinking of the line in Holy Grail where the guy goes, "Hey, there's a king."
Yeah.
What makes you think he's a king?
King.
Because he ain't got crap all over him.
I just love that scene where he talks about his inherent right to divine right and all that to him. It's like, oh, there it is. Oh, press rights and all that. What are you going to do? Kill me?
I'm being oppressed.
Yeah.
Shut up, you.
But anyway, this would have been much better if you could have a Monty Python mode. So for the setting of this game, as I said before, you're in the Bohemian Empire. This is around 1403 when this is happening. And this is real world stuff. So King Wenceslas is his name, something like that.
BS slag.
As in the good king? Like the little song you learned as a kid on piano?
I'm not sure, but he is the son of Charles IV, who is considered a great king. He basically united the whole entire Bohemian Empire, eventually was crowned Holy Roman Emperor. So he was considered a really big, popular king. Well, King Wenceslas is his son.
So King Wenceslas is a real...
Yes, real person. And
Google. I need to learn.
And he basically, when he comes to power, he does what a lot of nobles want to do, which is he wants to enjoy the lifestyle of being a noble. Okay, he wants to party, he wants to have feast, he wants to go hunting, he wants to neglect his abilities, and which he does. He doesn't really delegate. I mean, like I think they even said like he was supposed to be crowned the new Holy Roman Emperor, and he didn't show up for his coronation. What that ends up causing is that there is...
That's what I said.
A bunch of nobles who, therefore, because of the fact he's not doing his job, start to get pissed off because, people start rising up doing what they want, and there's no one... The king isn't sitting on the throne to do the kinds of dictations that are needed, so people who are lower than them are doing things that they don't like. They're not maybe getting the tax tariffs they want or whatever, so they start to get pissed off. And King Wenceslas has a half-brother named Sigmundsson, who is the king of Hungary at this time. So they go to him and say, like, hey, help us out. We really need your help right now. This king is just ruining this. He's going to kill the whole entire empire if he keeps this up. So Sigmundsson is kind of the opposite of his brother, whereas his brother wants to play around. He's kind of on the other side of nobility. He wants what most nobles that aren't at the top wants. He wants more power. So what does he do? He raises an army, and he invades Bohemia, captures Wenceslas, takes his key city and captures all his gold, and basically says, hey, you're going to have to abdicate, and I'm the king now. And that, in the process, kind of throws Bohemia itself into a whole entire civil war, where you have Sigmundsson and his army kind of trying to gain control of the whole entire country, and then those who are traditionally just because of the fact divine right and all these things, they support their king. Doesn't matter if he's terrible or not. He's the king. He believes it's divine by God, so they must obey. Henry, the main character of this game, is simply a guy who's living in this town called Skalitz, which is in Bohemia. At the start of the game, he's the son of a blacksmith. He kind of just, doesn't know what he wants to do with his life, but he's like any other peasant. He doesn't, he's not a skilled soldier. He doesn't know how to fight. He doesn't necessarily know how to read or write that well, if at all. It's kind of hinted, but not really shown. his biggest thing that he likes to do right now is go down to the pub, hang out with his friends, and he's courting a girl who is the local barmaid.
See, Sean, courting.
Yeah, that means you're trying to get that.
Yeah. Okay.
So at the start of this game, Skalitz is over.
The more you know.
Is run by this guy, Lord Raditz, right? And Lord Raditz is a known supporter of the king. So at the beginning of the game, basically, Sigmundsson's army arrives at Skalitz and burns the place to the ground. Just wipes out everyone. Does not care. Just killing anyone, because they're peasants. They don't matter. They're just people. They
have poo all over them.
Exactly. If you have poo on them, they're not people anymore.
That's right.
They're poo people.
They're poople.
Right. So through a series of events, basically Henry ends in a different town and is he's orphaned. His parents are dead. Everyone he knows pretty much or cares about is dead. And he needs to find his place in the world. There's I won't spoil it, there's a couple of more storyline points as far as his personal ambitions, where they're driving from. But really, it's about now being thrust into this world as a servant and finding, how can I become part of this, this battle, this war for Bohemia, if you will. And that's not an easy thing to do when you're serf. People just don't realize, you didn't just become and decide one day, I'm going to be a knight and, a warrior or whatever, and automatically get trained up and everything. That's usually determined by your blood and, how rich your family is.
Yeah.
And this world really aims to treat you, the player, to make you understand and appreciate just what this world is like. Unlike most games, this game really makes you pay attention to things like how much you've ate. Where are you sleeping? Have you bathed? And if so, when you do bathe, how much are you bathing? Are you just washing yourself in a horse trough, or are you actually finding someone who has a bath and, being able to bathe yourself?
In what way is it making you aware? Is it based on interactions with people?
Well, as far as with your health and everything, pretty much no matter what you're doing, your energy and your nourishment are 2 meters that are depleting.
So meters.
Yes. So you have those 2 meters.
Jeez.
And to a point where even if you fast travel in this game, right? Mm-hmm. If I go from this town to the next, you have to be aware of what your levels are, because you can run out of food and energy in the
Or I've
time
seen
period.
that your food can spoil.
Yes. Food goes bad after town. Or after time, if you just find a dead body on the ground, you loot, usually if they have some sort of food on them.
Chris, that's not how it works. When I carry in Legend of Zelda, when I carry food...
It's just always there.
It's always there.
And you can carry as much as you want.
Until we cook it and make potions and better things for us.
And it doesn't spoil even then.
Right.
So you have those kinds of systems, but then you also have nobility systems. So the way you're dressed... and the way your clothes look and the way you smell, nobles, they care about this stuff.
Yeah.
If you're just some dirty peasant who looks like garbage, they're not going to listen to you. You're literally beneath them as far as they're concerned. On the other hand,
the good old days.
As you progress in the game, if you get armor, certain types of armor and all that kind of stuff, and you have blood on your sword and things like that, that can be used to entice people, or I should say, make them fear you, because they know you are willing.
Enticed me.
Because they know, right then and there, you're willing to pull out your sword and
I
just,
am.
I know, your sheath.
Unsheathe this bad boy.
Oh, dear God.
So, the world constantly reacts around you. If you become someone who pickpockets or whatever, vendors might not be willing to give you such good deals in town. Or
and also you can get in trouble with the law. You can leave the town and come back and they don't forget you.
No, they don't. They run right up to you. I found that out the hard way.
I know things, John.
Yeah. He looks at videos.
Ooh, I do.
Look at you.
I do.
So
all kinds of videos.
I would say the big reason to me this game, besides the historical setting, has gotten a lot of attention, is that it's probably the closest thing in design that we've had to a Skyrim since that game came out.
Yeah.
It is, this open world RPG where you can go or whatever, do whatever you want. A little bit, not nearly as big as Skyrim is. That's for sure.
Does it have dragons?
It does not. They are on an island next to Australia. And they're not.
Dragons aren't real?
Not unless they start with a Komodo. But yeah, you're able to go wherever you want and do whatever you want. There are some restrictions, though, as far as what you can do and when you can do it. Mainly that if you take a quest from someone and you don't do it, it doesn't just sit there forever for you. It's like, no, these people go like, look, you ain't going to do this job? I'll go hire that guy to do this job.
I asked you 3 weeks ago, dude.
Pretty much, yeah. So you have to be aware of like what you're doing, not like just taking up side quests for the heck of it from people. If you're going to do the main quest, well, then go do the main quest. Otherwise, people will get pissed off. You can kill quest givers without even realizing it, so you can run into dead ends.
Did you run into a situation to where, I say, a person you needed to speak to on a quest only populated at certain times and you missed them times?
Yeah, I've had times where I've really had to figure out where people are. There was like one part where you're in a keep and you're trying to find the lady of the keep because she's got to give you some information. And
is she upstairs?
She was upstairs sometimes. Sometimes she was out in the courtyard. Sometimes she was eating some food.
I watched
goes everywhere.
On Twitch. I watched the guy who had the most views going at the time, and when this happened, he stopped his stream, played a song like this, said "Hallelujah," arms were in the air, and you just saw this. He just let the screen sit there for a minute because he finally was able to complete this quest. I don't know which quest it was, but apparently it can be very daunting.
Yeah, the early part of that game for sure. So like Skyrim, pretty much whatever you do in this game, you gain experience in it. So if you want to be able to have lots of stamina, you have to run. You have to consistently run wherever you're going.
Like Grand Theft Auto.
If you want to become someone who's great at stealth or lockpicking, that you have to do those activities. If you use your bow and arrow, then you're better with your bow and arrow. You know, Henry starts out very basic, not able to do much, but just like Skyrim, as you do things in time, he becomes more competent in them and becomes more skilled, and more abilities and pathways open up for you as you put the time investment in there. You know, the big thing I would actually tell everyone, if you're doing this game, talk to everyone, because having speech on your side and having it where you can convince people what you want them to do is a gift of the gods in this game. Unlike Skyrim, though, you know, as I said, there's a lot more regulation as far as what you can do. Skyrim just lets you go do whatever you want, whenever you want to do it, however you want to do it. This game isn't that game. This game is literally, well, if you do this, this can happen. And if you negate this, this can happen. And then next thing you know, you've lost 10 days of your life in a stockade. And the sword you stole, that was so awesome, it's no longer yours. It's really depressing. As I said before, the map isn't really anything humongous. Like, this isn't a Ubisoft-sized map. This isn't even a Skyrim-sized map from what I've seen so far. It is a map that is more so just something that is aimed to transport you to where it is. And, like, when I've looked at new pictures of the areas that this game...
What pictures?
New.
N-E-W.
As in, like, you know, today, of that region... That's based off, like, you can tell they nailed the way it looks. Like, there's these beautiful open farmlands, fields that are built around river bends, and then, like, at the crest of the river bend, there'll be a town and something like that with, like, all these little straw cottages and things like that. And then you'll have, like, keeps that are built on the sides of mountains that go up that obviously are built there for strategic purposes, you know, because obviously the higher ground, the more likely you're going to see people coming, and it also provides additional defense. It makes it harder for the enemy to get in. And then there are these just huge, lush forests that coat the hillsides. And they're just chock full of game for you to go out there and hunt and explore. It feels like you are in medieval Europe, at least as far as, like, you know, tricking you to think this could be something real. It doesn't feel like some fantasy world. It really does feel like you are looking at Central Europe. And that's a really cool feat. Like, you know, most people, when they recreate games, they kind of more so try to take something that's, or I should say, recreate real world areas. They try to take something that's very, very large and condense it into an environment that will work for, you know, the game so it won't break. This one seemed like they did the opposite. It's like they said, how big can we make this where it stays to scale and looks realistic and feels realistic as far as size and distance between areas. And I think they nailed that perfectly. But that's it. I've said some nice things, right?
Yeah.
A lot of nice things.
Here it comes.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
As I said, there's a lot of meticulous things, and it's a very beautiful world, but it's clear to me, at least at this point, this world comes at a cost. And there are some issues that I think they really need to work on before this game has the potential to become something great. Mainly, when you're on console, for instance, console is supposed to run at 30 frames per second, right? Got the Xbox One XX. Project Scorpio has 45 billion teraflops in there. I don't know if you noticed, it just added 5 more.
Yeah, you did.
And and unfortunately, despite that, on both, and I've heard it's the same, or actually I think it's worse on the Pro. It rarely holds that 30 frames. It doesn't go anywhere to a point like where it's like choppy or, you know, just really breaking up. But I can tell, I'm like, oh, that's dipped down to about 20 frames right now. I can tell.
What is it? I can't imagine there's like so much going on in the frame.
Well, there's a big open world rendering. There's NPCs walking around. There's smoke. There's lighting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, John. It's very complicated.
It seems like the world isn't like a quiet or dead world. It's very lively. There's things going on.
They made a weird decision to make this game with CryEngine, which I think it might have been in part because when they started it back in 2012. I'm willing to bet if they were making this game now, they probably would have chose Unreal 3, and it would have been a lot easier experience for them to get maybe what they were trying to do. I think it can be fixed over time. I'm sure with patches they can make this run a little smooth. And like I said, I haven't had an instance where I have an encounter where the frame rate is so bad that, you know, I'm ticked off at it. John's trying to steal from me. You're going to get thrown in the brig.
And lose my sword.
Yes.
I was listening.
I'm so proud of you. You'll find, like, for instance, also, like, when you're going around the world, it's so common to just see texture pop in as the world is trying to keep up. Like, I'll see
there's the Matrix.
There's this one guy early on you meet that's called Miller something who wears this kind of big hat.
He's probably a miller.
Time?
He is a miller. He is a miller.
Miller Time?
Miller or something. I can't remember his last name.
He runs a mill.
Yes.
Oh, like a miller.
He's a miller.
And he's got the Miller hat on. And you'll see him, like, you know, if you wake up and you just walk over to him, you know, it's like, oh, cool. Hey, there you are. And he's got his hat on. Well, then if you go out in the world and you come back, you'll always see him bald. And then slowly at some point, there comes the hat. You know? So it's just.
What was that again?
I can't pop it.
Okay. It was good. I'll cherish it.
But yeah, it's just things like that. You know, these are sacrifices. I get it.
Hilarious.
Like, this isn't a premium studio, but you could tell, like, these are the sacrifices they had to make. Things like there are systems that are obtuse and really need to be worked on to make them beneficial. The biggest being lockpicking, pickpocketing, and stealth. Because, like, when you're doing stealth, there's no way to tell if someone sees you or not. No one, you know, you just have to hope, well, he doesn't see me, so I can pickpocket him. Pickpocketing, I've yet to figure out. And 9 times out of 10, I just get caught
even
right
on
away.
easy
So
mode?
I don't do. Yeah, no, there is no easy mode. But anyways, there's lockpicking. Lockpicking is like the most obtuse thing where you have
Chris,
to.
it was probably obtuse back in the 1200s.
True. 1500.
Sorry.
Or 15th century, 1400.
Yeah, 1400s, guys. Tighten up.
Let's get our timeline right.
up.
I mean, it is history. It already happened.
Yeah, you could look it up in a book.
Already did.
Good.
I was
Now,
right about
Speaking of books, though, those are crazy hard to read in that game, too. Aren't they?
Right?
Just like, ugh.
What?
Yeah, they're really weird.
Get to those. Don't forget to tell me about those in a sec.
But like
Nerd.
when you do the lock picking, you have to do this thing like where the left stick you find this kind of inception point, and like you'll see this dot in the screen turn yellow. That's how you know you found it, right? And then you have to take the lock, or you use your right stick to find the inception point. Then you have to take the lock with your left stick and turn it and consistently keep the inception point accurate in position to where the lock has turned to.
Does it vibrate or anything?
Not really. And it's just like, it's so loose and janky. Yeah, I know. Like, real loose. Like, you could back a truck in there loose.
Yeah.
So what would you compare a good lock picking mechanic in a game?
I mean, Skyrim from back in the day was always clutch as far as a game that's very similar to it.
You see Jonathan Clutch.
What was the other game Bethesda makes that y'all like?
Fallout.
Yeah, they have good lock picks too.
They do.
Some say Skyrim got their lock picking mechanic from that game that you guys like.
Probably so. Because same guy, but
No. I mean, like somebody explicitly pointed that out to me, and I was like, "Oh, well, I've never played that other game. This is all I know. Now I'm going to go be a thief in a guild."
I started Skyrim on Switch.
Why?
everyone asked them that question. It was too good for your PS4 or your Xbox One.
It would have been PS3 at the time, right?
I would never tell anyone to play that game on PS3.
I did, and it was fine. I never had a problem.
You didn't play it but 2 hours, right?
I played. First of all, I will go pull up my stats. I probably played 100 hours in that game.
Yeah. Apparently, you closed all your doors, so good for you. That's what would cause the game crashes for everyone, they said, on the system.
After about 30 or 40 hours in, you would, if you didn't do a certain thing, the entire game was crashed and unfixable.
Yeah, because it wouldn't.
And they never fixed it.
Nope, they couldn't.
I never had an issue.
We got it. You played 5 hours.
I slayed a dragon, and I'm a thief.
You robbed one thing, and you slayed the first dragon.
I had a master lockpick that I did not ever turn back in.
But
that was vital to have.
It is a remastered version on Switch.
Yeah.
Are you still? You're still there? I'm just kidding. Don't get all for real mad.
But yeah, those systems, like, all those systems are so obtuse. Like, and it sucks for someone like me. I like to play these games like a rogue. You know, I want to go around. I want to sneak around. I want to break into houses and take whatever.
You're so
I don't
not
care.
A rogue.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
I almost sent you an online video of Arnold Schwarzenegger busting through a house, like shooting everybody, not taking cover.
That's you.
That's me in a shooter.
No,
but when I'm in,
It's like when someone tells me to play stealth.
Nah. Like Skyrim.
Assassin's Creed.
Skyrim, for instance, I always play as
murder everybody.
Skyrim always plays a Khajiit because one,
what?
They're very
they're
like a
Wrangler or
they're like a cat race.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, and I like them because one, they can see
terrible.
at night. Two, they're very stealthy, and three, they have great lock picking skills. So it's like a trifecta for me. And I break in, and while they're sleeping, I steal them, and then about every other time I stab them all, and then I go on the way.
Sometimes the people don't like when
you drink all their milk, and
they don't like when you break in. They try to fight you, and you got to kill them, and you feel really bad about that.
Just like they wake up, I'm in the corn.
So you're walking up to the miller, and all of a sudden you see the hat on his head.
Yeah, it just pops in, and then you're like, hey, there it is.
I see that when he does it. I can't.
But worst off of all these problems, and it's been reported, and it needs to be fixed.
It'll be fixed, guys. It's the first.
Give me that. It would be the fact that it crashes.
How often?
It can crash at any moment, and I mean it's been painful, and I'll tell you why. Skyrim is fine with crashes because Skyrim auto saves about every 10 minutes, and you can save it anytime in that game. Like anything else in this game, they really want you to feel the restriction and how much life sucks. So you can only save. It will auto save every now and then before key and after key missions, which are pretty rare. Or you can save when you go to bed. Okay, so if you find a bed and you actually go to bed for whatever hours, it will save the game then. Or you can get this drink called a shave your schnapps, which is an alcoholic beverage that allows you to save them. But the kicker is, because it's an alcoholic beverage, if you start to drink many of them, there starts to be the effects of being an alcoholic and all that. You know, you start being drunk and you're not as well in tune with your sensibilities or anything like that. So you just, after a while, you're just like, I've had so many times now, and I wish I could say I've played this game more, and I did, but it's been in part because of crashes where I'm doing all this work out in the world, you know, that is like an hour of my life, and I'm just talking to someone randomly, and all of a sudden, boom, there goes the game.
How many hours would you say you've played this game?
In the game, I've probably played about 12 or 13 hours.
How many times has it crashed in 13 hours?
More than I want to count.
5 times?
More than that.
10 times?
More than that.
12 times?
Yeah, it was
once
to a point.
every hour, ladies and gentlemen.
It was to the point where yesterday, my plan was really to put in some work yesterday. So I started out about 11 a.m. I played for 30 minutes. The game to crash, and the crash afterwards, I guess, completely was just ruining my OS in Xbox. So I had to I got to the point where I just unplugged my Xbox for a couple of hours and then replugged it in about 5 o'clock that night, and everything was fine again. And I've had that a couple times where like it doesn't just crash; it crashes like parts of Xbox itself. And I don't know if that's the same for PlayStation. But I haven't had any other problems with games. So
have they said anything about it?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything. So, you know, if there's anything that is painful, especially like when you have this obtuse lock picking system, is to go out there, rob the things you want to, actually accomplish it, be going back to save, and then the game crash on you, and you've lost all that progress, and you just think, I've got to pick that lock again. I've got to do this again. It's not fun. They've said they're going to at least make it in the future patch here where you can save and quit, but that's it. You know, they're saying right now they're holding firm on this idea of just being able to save whenever. And I might be okay with that if maybe they would make it like where it creates an autosave about every 5 hours in like the game itself. You know, like not while you're playing, but like in game time, if 5 hours have passed, it goes, hey, save. You know, here it is. It's there for you in case something goes wrong. Because right now, if you tell me you want me to put 80 to 90 hours of my life into something and I have to keep going back and redoing things because I lose all my progress at any moment, that's just not fun to me. I don't care who you are. That's bad. That's a bad game in my opinion. And it sucks because, like I said, this whole entire world is great. This whole entire
doesn't sound great,
except the lock picking.
This world is great. The story itself, from what I've experienced so far, like going off and like becoming this, you join up with that lord who basically got sacked in the beginning, and join him and help him in his quest. So you can see where it's going, like how you could start to become more powerful in this game and maybe begin to earn a little bit better class for yourself in life, right? And I'm interested to see how that game changes. Also, combat is amazing in this game. I'm in the early throes of it. Like, it's this system where you lock on to people and your sword is up, and you have like a 5-point star where you have to kind of combo your way around directions to hit your enemy. So like, you know, you can't just always have your sword aimed out this way going right and holding it out there where he can see it, especially if the guy's got a shield on his right arm, because when you swing at it, every single time he'll block you and then he'll just kick you back and stab you. You have to like kind of be holding it out here and then all of a sudden cut back and do a sweeping under cut, you know, beneath him. It makes you think about how you plot things, and at the same time, all these strikes use up your stamina. So you have to kind of like a boxer manage your stamina going back and forth to make sure you have enough to block people as they come in and try to hit you, and be able to attack them efficiently. Otherwise you get winded, and the next thing you know, if like there's especially if they're in like groups of 2 people, they just team up on you and they'll all start chopping you down. Next thing you know, you're dead. That is really exciting, and I'm like interested to see where that goes. But as of right now, I would just say my final ruling where I'm at today is this.
Oh no.
This game has the potential to be a solid RPG. and one that anyone who is a fan of the medieval era or is just a historian of Europe, I would say, if you love history,
it's got Stonehenge in there.
No, that's in England. That's on an island. This kid, I swear.
What's that one island when they got all the heads?
That's Easter Island. That's in South Pacific.
Yeah, they say that's a scary island.
Yeah.
That's not in there.
No, that's not in there.
All right.
It has interesting characters. It has an interesting world. It has interesting game mechanics. But until you have a game that runs efficient where I don't have to worry about what's going to happen to me, not by what the world offers, but what my system is able to handle at any point, it's not worth my time. So my plan is this. I think this team's going to get right. I'm rooting for this team to get it right. For now, I'm going to put this game down. I mean, not just because we've got other things to play. I would love to keep playing it, but I'm putting it down, and I'm going to give it like 4 or 5 months and see if these guys can come back and fix this game. Because I get it. They're a small team. This isn't a AAA game. This is like a AA game. This is a small studio trying to make their name. I would be really intrigued to see that they could turn this around. But if you're interested in this game, if you're super interested and you're willing to put up, first off, buy this game on PC because I've heard it runs a lot better there. You can get 60 frames per second. I've kind of regretted the fact that I haven't bought it there.
Why didn't you do that?
I don't know. I'm actually considering I will probably, instead of maybe even just playing on this, I might just wait till it's on a Steam sale and pick it up then. And that's what I would tell people to do. I'm like, unless you really, really feel like you want this kind of game, wait.
Or if they don't care about what you said as far as what's wrong with it, I mean.
Yeah, like I say, if you can look at,
I know that if you can wrong.
If you can handle crashes and all that, and like I said, I don't know how bad the PC runs and as far as that, I'm sure it runs better. Usually they do. If you're looking to play on this console, I would just say wait for now because they really do need to fix these issues before you give them $60 of your money.
So on our Richard scale, are we TBD?
Right now, as of
TBD.
Today, I would say this is game, in my opinion, is 7 Richards.
That's not bad.
That's not bad because there is a lot of goodness there. There's a lot of things I enjoyed.
Yeah.
And I would gladly, just getting into a fist fight in that game is a freaking battle the first time because you fight the town drunk first and you don't know how to fight and he's drunk.
I thought this game was completely different, kind of.
I
don't want to spoil anything, but I thought your guy dies in the beginning and gets like
he almost dies
or something. Yeah,
he almost died. I didn't want to give away like what happens. Like
no more details. But if you watch the trailer, they almost imply like you kind of pull a Jon Snow.
No.
Okay.
No. Everyone else just died, not you. Somehow you pulled through. You're the 10%.
You also don't die in Skyrim.
That's
as
true.
You're supposed to die.
Yeah,
like you're going to die.
Old Dovahking powers show up.
Well, 7 Richards.
Yeah, I think it's a great game. I think it's like the most unique thing probably that's out this year so far. Like I don't know if there's another game that's coming out anytime soon like this or that you can compare. Like probably the closest things I can think of are For Honor and Chivalry, and those are just combat games. They're not really about the world or anything.
Well,
so.
I have zero interest in playing this game.
We know.
It's too much of the intricate things that I don't want to deal with.
Dave Matthews.
If I'm gonna, I could have pulled out either Crash or Lightning Crashes a couple of times when you were saying Crash
That's
about
true.
the game. Placenta falls to the floor. But I mean, if I'm going to play
that live, that's not Dave Matthews.
Yeah, I
said Lightning Crashes.
2 songs. I said either Crash or Lightning Crashes.
Yeah.
You gonna be okay?
D-alert on. But
okay.
I would rather just play an MMORPG that has all that kind of stuff.
And runs.
Yeah. But
yeah, true.
We'll see. I mean, if you do touch, go back and touch that game again. I would like to hear the update. I also would like to hear and if anybody's played it and have enjoyed it more than you or haven't really had the problems with you. I'd love to hear from them.
Like I said, I know we have a listener who has written in, and I can't remember the name right now, so please forgive me. But we've had a listener write in that was hyped for this. And like I said, I think it surprised everyone just how well the community received this. And it shows like the RPG community, if you give them something unique, especially something based in, I think, that era, whether it has the dragons or not, or it's going for the more fiction or more nonfiction style things, they'll show up if you make a game that seems like it's going to give them a lot of time to invest in it, despite its issues. And that seems to be what's happened here. Like all these people, I think, were not expecting this game to be as big as it is. And when you say this game with almost zero promotion has sold 1 million copies already, that's impressive for someone who doesn't have a reputation.
Can you think of anything like it?
No.
Straight up?
Because, I mean, there's no magic. There's no potions. There's no...
Nope.
Well, how do you replenish your health other than just recuperate? Just eat?
Rest, bandages.
So that's not exactly
leeches?
How. No. So that's a classic video game trope that's not very realistic. So it does have to.
Yeah, there are certain parts.
It does have to relinquish some.
Yeah, there's definitely certain parts like you have to give up. But and it has a skill system. It has the ability to level certain things up, but they're more defined to real world things than necessarily anything supernatural. It's not like you're going to be able to turn around and talk to a bear.
First person.
And be like, yes,
yeah.
Do
you seem interested at all in it, John?
I think it's fascinating.
Yeah.
I was interested in it because
you like swords.
Because because the Dark Ages, Middle Ages.
But it's not that.
Yeah, I mean,
what?
It's not that at all.
This is
what's not that at all?
This game.
But it is.
It is.
But
no, this is actually real big. Like this whole entire thing leads towards.
I'm just saying, bro.
What is it called in the Catholic Church? It was back
Lent?
when this is back in the time period
Crusades?
where there were basically 3 accepted Roman or popes throughout Europe, and Sigmundson is the one who hosted the Accords or whatever, where they finally came through and unified back under one pope and things like that. And determined some certain things. That became very much the modern age of the Catholic
Nicene
Church.
Creed?
I don't think that's it. No, not a fan.
Well, if you were like me and you Googled who is the King Wenceslas,
I told you this good King Wenceslas.
He was the good king.
Well, there you go.
And it says Wenceslas was the 10th century Catholic Duke of Bohemia, also known as...
I think you got the wrong one then.
It says king...
Yeah, well, I don't know if you know this. They reuse names in royal history.
Well, what's the me?
This is later on because you said 10th century. This is 15th century.
So, and then John says the Good King song is a song about the Bohemian king going on a journey.
Well, there you go.
Who braves harsh winter weather.
Yeah, that's not this guy.
Then there's too many King Wenceslases.
Now let me tell you about Pope Piuses.
Oh my God, I don't know. I'm more confused now than ever.
1 hour and 2 minutes.
We did it, guys. Woohoo!
No news.
No, this is actually we're on track right now. But yeah, let's do the news.
Want to?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Okay.
Hot off the press and straight to your ears. Weekly Games Chat presents the news.
News.
Sean?
News.
No.
You not feeling it today?
Nope, not right then.
What's wrong, Shiny Bear?
Chris made me not want to feel it.
Oh,
I hate you.
This looks good.
Well,
Look at
look.
this.
He's still going to mess it up, even though the font is good giantness on his screen.
Even just got bigger.
Ooh, I
Bigger
touched
and bigger and. Tax levy proposed on M-rated games. A representative from Rhode Island has proposed a raise in tax on video game titles with an M rating. The funds will be used towards mental health provisions in schools. The Republican member of the Rhode Island State House has plans to raise the tax by more than 10%. The proposal follows President Trump's recent statement concerning violence in video games and its possible effects on young people. I'm not surprised this happened, but
I'm not either. We've if for those of you who have lived on this earth as long as John and Chris and myself, this has kind of been brought up before, where people tried to connect video games to violence.
It's kind of
it's weird for me because I understand the clear and definite line.
Yeah.
Even at the younger age when I played a game, I knew I think it was like a Grand Theft auto, you're like, I can't just run from the cops and let the SWAT team and army come get me and run over people and rob banks and rape people. You can't do that. You know what I mean?
That's not cool.
But what do you guys think about the tax? That's the big thing here, right?
I don't think this will go anywhere just because, one, it's Rhode Island. I can't
What's
imagine
up, Rhode Island?
I can't imagine Rhode Island as being the bed of having a very large Republican-controlled Senate or House for their state legislation.
Do you think that has a direct tie to this tax? Is that you need to be Republican?
Well, it's proposed by a Republican. I would.
Well, yeah, I know. But I'm
expect
saying,
no Democrat's going to be going for this because it's basically part of their talking points.
It is, but you're going to be surprised, dude.
In some form or another, you cited how old we were.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is sort of based on another thing that's happened in the news that we won't necessarily cite, but depending on the decade, depending on the year, both Democrats and Republicans have taken up this mantle of using video games and violence in video games, violence in film to blame it on certain things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The crazy thing is the people who
they've also done that with music,
but the people in the video game community who I saw an article that was called "Are we still really blaming video games in 2018?" But that same guy, with all due respect to him, who would firmly denounce that this leads to violent behavior, is the same guy who probably would believe when he's told that these video games perpetuate toxic masculinity. He'd probably buy that argument. So it just depends on what your politics are. But with this, it's interesting to me.
Maybe the online society would.
Maybe the online society would. You know.
That is a whole different universe, bro.
If you're talking about if you're talking about in the game itself, that's one thing. If you're talking about how people can be online when they're anonymous, that's a completely different subject.
No. I'm talking about playing games like Grand Theft Auto 5. I'm talking about playing games like
Call of Duty,
Hitman, where you're according to some people shooting prostitutes.
Yeah,
some people will claim that perpetuates toxic masculinity the same way that we deny that it perpetuates violence.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, when I walk out, I mean, studies have shown to some degree, you walk out of a movie theater where you've seen an R-rated action film, you are aggressive for 30 minutes to an hour, depending on who you are. So I wouldn't say that it's not linked.
Yeah.
It's just there's no studies that have proven it yet. But regarding the tax,
it's just like at first glance when you think about it, you go, how much violence in terms of video games or movies or TV, whatever, even music if you want to go that way, or art in general that's out there, and you consider the things going on and how little you've ever heard of someone talk about the fact that it comes back to just them I play Call of Duty every night and I kill people and then I go out and I do it in real life. You just don't hear that. I'm sure there are cases of it every now and then, but I would think if it was a common trend, if it was something that was always seen in these kinds of instances, it would be reported more often and you would probably see it more.
You're talking about going out and killing people, but I'm talking about we all have a mutual friend. I asked that friend, hey, if you see your dog and a stranger drowning in the river, who are you going to save? He said, my dog.
That's crazy.
Meaning he cited the connection with his dog outweighed the connection with a stranger.
Interesting.
Meaning that
that's manslaughter.
Meaning that in 2018,
is it?
Can be in unintentional.
Regardless, but you will find it very common when you ask younger generations that same question.
Yeah,
they'll answer their dog. So in 2018, I'm not saying this is linked, but we are devaluing human life more and more and more.
Fair.
My kid will watch TV, watch a show, and he won't bat an eye to people dying on screen. But the moment a dolphin gets killed or a dog gets killed,
that's true.
He's mortified. He's mortified.
I think that's most people. That's always been true. Because you go back to Old Yeller.
Or Where the Red Fern Grows, bro.
Yeah. Like those kinds of things. Like
I think,
people have an attachment. Everyone can. It's hard to relate.
It's not the attachment that I have a problem with.
Yeah.
I have a problem with the attachment of you see death by human, death, human, death, human,
Sure.
death, human, death, human, death, human, death, human. Dog dies, and the world comes to an
because
end.
dogs are generally perceived as they're like innocent. They love you unconditionally.
Plus, I think the thing
Humans
is,
are
one is a
terrible.
One is a defined character like that has
I'm
a part.
simply talking about the devaluation of human life.
Yeah, I'm more.
That is present in our generation.
I'm more so talking, I guess, about like what you're saying with movies and all that. Like, I think the reason people have that connection with animals on there is that most people have had a pet, and it's easy to put yourself in the same perspective as what it feels like when a pet dies, because it doesn't matter what, like how many you have in your life, whatever, you never forget that moment, and it just hurts. It hurts to see that.
But I'm talking about our mutual friend.
Yeah, but if I watch, for instance,
I'll give you Red Fern
yeah.
Grows, okay? I'm talking about the actuality of the devaluation of human life.
I would say.
Would you save?
I would
Penny,
disagree.
Or would you
actually.
save a stranger?
Oh, I'd save the stranger.
Okay,
I love her. Huh?
Why?
Because I love my dog, but it's a human life.
Okay.
Yeah.
But to wrap this up, it is going to be weird to see if this does go anywhere.
Did you just try to wrap this up?
Because I see it going somewhere.
10% tax on mature rated games can hurt the industry.
I think it'll hurt the industry, and
It's
I
just
think
going to hurt consumers.
And I think them saying that they're going to use that tax money towards mental health provisions, I think, like Chris said, it's directly tied to that party's current talking points.
It's everything, and it's nothing new. I'm not trying to say that they're bad for doing it. It's just like I expected this.
And can I just say the fact that a Republican is proposing a tax makes me physically nauseous.
Well, now you know more
Trickle
about
down,
John,
bro.
Folks. Dice winners.
Yeah.
Dice Awards have happened. Got our winners right here. Breath of the Wild took home Game of the Year.
So we come out the gate with the Game of the Year. That's how we do.
Well, this is the way he wrote it, so sorry.
First of all, you should know better.
First of all, he put Outstanding Achievement in Game Design twice.
Chris, can you scroll down?
Uh-huh.
Let's give this to Sean. I want you to name everything the way you think it needs to be named. A-hole.
No, that's not a shot at you.
Can't we joke back and forth?
Yeah, no, yeah. And
So
I picked the joke back.
You can dish it, but you cannot take it. I'm out.
I'm about to take it.
Hey guys,
I'm about to take it with
I
no
just wanna-
lube.
I would
That's
just
how good
like
I'm about to take it.
I'd just like to point out that apparently, according to John,
I was calling Chris dumb.
The Outstanding Achievement in Amusement went to Cubhead. That's Cubhead.
See, he's the D. I'm not. I was gonna say, even though you write it like that, everybody knows you don't bust with Game of the Year to begin the list.
You don't know what it's like.
You just busted a peak.
You don't know what it's. You don't know what it's like to be edited live on the podcast.
True.
It is demoralizing.
Hey,
Hey John, for future reference,
we're
just put them in reverse order.
But if I put it in reverse order, he's going to go, "Why is this in reverse order, you moron?"
You're probably right, but I'm just trying to solve problems.
The whole thing was, even if you put Game of the Year there, Smarty McSmarty Pants right here should go. I should probably say that one last. He does that with lists. He lists number 1 first. He lists Game of the Year first. Nobody cares about other winners in Game of the Year.
I can tell you're really passionate about this.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. Do I
This
sound
is the hill
passionate?
you're dying on? Huh.
You're the D. I'm
It's
not.
Actually, you're kind of the D right now.
When people describe this show to people who want to listen, do they go, "These guys hate each other"?
They really do.
Listen
I think
to this
that's
show.
what they do. They probably think we hate each other a lot.
You and me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. But we also have laid in the same bed.
That is a terrible.
The fact that you stuttered over those words.
I was like, I got a little choked up. But anyways, Breath of the Wild, won Game of the Year, also won Outstanding Achievement in Game Design and Adventure Game of the Year. Cuphead took home Best Animation, Best Art Direction, and Best Music, as I said before. Hellblade, hey, me and John both like that game, got Best Character. Super Mario Odyssey did not get shut out as it took home Best Sound Design. Talk about a handout. Horizon Zero Dawn took home both Best Story and Technical Achievement. And PUBG deservingly took home the Action Game of the Year.
Where it says game design a second time, that's actually game direction is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, well, there you go. Xbox Games with Gold has... Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. Xbox
Chris, hold on a
Games...
second.
No, we're good. We're good, John.
Who's we? Are you?
You and me, because you looked at me. You think I'm out of it right now.
You're out
going
of
to say
it.
something to Chris about hold on. And matter of fact, just say what you were going to say right now. I'm laying back. Do it, Chris. What?
I was wanting to see if before we move on, did you need to add anything?
Would you like a ranking?
No, it was great. It was
Okay.
it was awesome. You were the D by not being smart enough to
Buddy,
read it.
if you're having to call someone else the D, you're probably the D.
That's not true. You're trying to spin it, and that's fine. Look,
There are some.
I
by
will
the way,
embrace the D.
Look, Sean,
this
I
is
put
my
something
D.
in these notes just for you today.
Look, there's some.
Did
Look, if you want to know where I'm a D, everything on here that's incorrect today, I keep spying. I'm going to make sure I point out because John can see
it's
it.
big.
You do
Like,
that
for
every
instance,
week.
but he can't usually see it on my perspective. So now it's like, no. You can see
He
it as
sends
I read.
it to you.
Doesn't
He
matter.
has a copy of it.
Apparently, he doesn't.
When
edit
we
it.
read it, he's looking at it. I don't know if you know this, but he has a smartphone and an Apple Watch. He sees it.
And I hear it on his phone.
And I can't wait to download Trials of the Dragon Ball.
Well, anyways,
Blood
Xbox. John wants you to know that the Xbox games with God for next month are.
Xbox games with
I noticed that earlier. I don't point that kind of stuff out, because it's
I'd like them to actually have that as a program. Hey, it's
games
your-
with God. God.
So first off, the classic Trials of the Blood Dragon
Is
will
that a
be out.
classic?
What is
Oh yeah,
that?
that's the DLC for Far Cry 3, where it was like this
No,
cool
are you sure?
retro.
No, I
Oh,
think-
yeah.
I think
Oh
that's
no!
the
I'm sorry.
motocross
That was
thing.
where they crossed Blood Dragon with Trials.
Yes.
That's what it is.
It's the bike game.
Yes.
We talked about it. many
Super
years ago.
hot, which I'm planning to get this because I'm gonna get a certain game on VR. Wait, what does it mean by that?
No one cares.
Super hot. It's supposed to be really good. Brave. Not sure if that's like the Disney Brave or something else. And Quantum Conundrum. Those will all be available. Brave and Quantum Conundrum are for your Xbox 360, while Trials of the Blood
That's an
Dragon
excellent name
and
for a
Super
podcast.
Hot. Quantum Conundrum.
Yeah.
Where
We should
your quantum physicists gather every week to go over.
No, we just
conundrum.
have a lot of conundrums.
I always keep thinking that's Gravity Rush.
Quantum Conundrum?
Different console. New PUBG content. Player Unknown's Battlegrounds next PC content update has been delayed because of its effort to combat cheaters.
Which we've discussed last week.
We did. The team has not yet released a roadmap displaying the content for the first half of 2018. However, they promised to have one out in March with a tease of a brand new map. I think they've already started to hint that from what I'm reading on the webs.
No one's playing it, though, so.
Yeah, apparently not. Changes to matchmaking are also expected that will sort and prioritize users by ping. This will replace the previously announced plans to introduce a maximum ping limit.
See, John, that ping limit will
I do
help.
need to know this.
It will help. If you have a high ping and you're playing with somebody with a low ping, you're at a disadvantage.
What is a ping, though?
Ping is like basically how long from you
They
to the
talk.
server it takes for your computer to transmit. So like for instance,
Yeah.
if you do like a speed test, the first thing you'll see that pops up is your ping. And if your ping is like say 15
you're
versus
good.
125, which is you.
I don't think his. I think his ping is still.
Trust me, it's pretty bad.
I think his ping is still really
He
fast.
connects to AOL.
The ping can still be 15. It's just that even though we talk fast, you got like a turtle.
America Online.
So MPD is out, at least for software sales. I don't know if did they say anything?
That's all we're
They
going to say
did.
about
They
PUBG.
They said
that's it.
Do you have anything? I'm sorry.
No, that was it, right?
Yeah. That was
Okay.
it. That was it. I ain't got nothing to say on it.
That was good. That was good. They said everything is pretty much up year over year,
Yeah.
significantly up
I
as
thought-
far as hardware sales.
They said like basically it was like a three-way tie, right?
Yes.
And they said it was like less than 5%
those
between
three
first
ways.
and third.
I think sales are up 40%.
You talking
over
about
last
phone
year.
calls, John?
Shut up.
Top 10 games. I'm guessing this is in order.
Yes.
Yeah, I figured. Monster Hunter World #1.
Yep.
Number 2
Yep.
was Dragon Ball Z Fighter.
Fighter Z.
Or
You
Fire
dummy.
Call of Duty World War III at 4. PUBG at 5. Should note that's only your Xbox sales right there. 6 GTA 5. 7 NBA 2K18. 8 Super Mario Odyssey. 9 Breath of the Wild. I think I'm off here as far as counting, or maybe I don't know. Mario Kart 8 at 9. Sorry, and Madden NFL 18 at 10 because people like football. Mario, and killing people. That's about it. Sports, killing people, Mario. Zelda. GTA 5.
Yeah. It's
GTA
there.
5.
I just let it marinate and be what it is.
Let it marinate.
Indeed.
Death Stranding gets more big names. Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding has added voice actor Troy Baker and writer-actress Emily O'Brien. O'Brien shared an Instagram post with Norman Reedus and Troy Baker stating, quote, honored to be working alongside these two fine lads on Hideo Kojima's new project Death Stranding. Other than that, we still don't know what the heck this project is.
That news note brought to you by Kojima.
Produced by Kojima. Creds by Kojima.
You got to think, though,
Secret word, Kojima.
if Steven Spielberg comes to you and says, I want you in my movie,
You do it.
and you say, what's it about? And you say, well, he says, it's a steaming pile of poo on screen for an hour and a half. What do you say?
Let's do this.
Let's do this. That's Hideo Kojima.
He is a rock star. I mean, plus, if
I
you're
don't-
Troy Baker, why wouldn't you do this?
No, I mean, Troy, I don't think he's worked for Kojima in any way.
Nah, no. I mean, I don't know why he would have, but this is great and awesome. I like to see those two.
Great and awesome?
Great and awesome. And we'll find out whatever the mythical game about babies and black goo is about at some point.
It's going to be nothing about that.
It's going to be about them dudes floating in the sky.
Well, speaking of not knowing what this is about, Mads Mikkelsen said that Hideo Kojima pitched the story to him. And by the time he was done pitching, he didn't know what the heck he was talking about.
Well,
but he said,
good.
okay,
Yeah.
I'll do it anyway. But he went through the entire story with him.
Sure.
It was like, he got so overwhelmed he didn't know what the heck he was talking about. That kind of worries me a little.
Yeah.
But I've
Apparently-
never played a blah, blah, blah.
Apparently, you've never seen like where there's the space whale and
What?
remember like when they were doing the build up for Phantom Pain and there was like the space whale and all this other stuff they were showing that was like what or shoot the opening of freaking Metal Gear Solid 5.
I do remember
in
that.
the hospital.
Yeah.
That was weird,
All of a sudden, I had a metal horn out my head.
right? Yeah, the game is very weird, but it's awesome. Even if they did cut like apparently 25%.
You go from a hospital bed with like something in your head to like on a horse.
in the middle of the desert. And you're totally fine with it.
Yeah, it works.
Because it's fine because later on you get that little robot you can glide around on.
You're
and
like, it's just
put the box
Kojima.
on.
And it's awesome because when your suit's wet, it looks wet.
It really does. And then you tether everything around you.
Yeah.
You're like, well, this is going back to the base.
It's awesome.
You know how most games, like how this game.
Oh, I've heard about that mechanic, guys.
Yeah. Payday 2 is outdated on Switch. Payday 2 developer Starbreeze has confirmed that the game released on Switch is not the latest version of the game. Features such as the ability to speed up the end of heist and screens and flashbangs were not present during recent streams of the game. According to the developer, quote, Payday 2 is releasing on Switch with the content up to, including the Most Wanted update, which is the equivalent of the content released through mid-2017 on PC. PS4 and Xbox One received one additional update after that, the Master Plan update, which released near the end of 2017. Basically, this version is one update behind. On top of that, the developer is still waiting for the green light for voice chat on the Switch version from Nintendo.
I should correct that. It's one version behind Xbox and PS4. However, Xbox and PS4 is one version behind PC.
Well, hopefully they can patch it at some point. I don't know. Maybe it's just file size.
It could be that.
That was my
Yeah.
assumption.
But I think that game does have the that icon and that banner on the top that says you need an external memory card.
Sure.
So you should have no problem with file size, especially if you were like John, who bought like 128 gig.
Did you buy the Switch branded one? For
No.
he tried to hand me the
Yeah.
Switch branded one. He wasn't trying to. He said, "You want the one for Switch?" And I went, "Yeah."
And then he went, here's this one with Switch.
because and so he
Yeah.
gave me the brand, which was 128 gigs for $89.
Yeah.
Versus the normal one, which is the exact same product.
Yep.
Same company.
Yep.
$59.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I
It
remember
wasn't his fault. I said it, and he. You know,
Microsoft used to do that crap with hard drives where you're like, you
they
go.
still do.
Yeah.
Well,
They
not
have a
for Not for Xbox now you can just use whatever, but I mean,
I just mean they have a branded external.
Yeah, like the branded one, like way back on 360, the 20 gig one would cost you about $120, and you're like, I could get that for $10 down the street at the
20
time.
gigs?
Yeah, that was the original. The original hard drive for both, or for the Xbox Xbox 360 was 20 gigs, and it was 60 gigs, I believe, the maximum. Or no, 40 gigs was the large one for PS3 when it launched. Oh. Now, the more you know.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hey.
His head bobbing.
I know. Updates to Fortnite. Fortnite's upcoming V3.00 updates will offer some new challenges.
It's here, isn't it?
It's live.
Sorry, you should say, Chris,
okay,
it is actually
live,
here.
yeah.
So.
They offer new changes and options to make the building faster and easier. Here are the 4 updates. Toggable turbo building will allow you to hold down your primary fire to continuously place new building pieces. Auto change materials will automatically switch to another building material from the one when you run out. That's important. That could change everything. Because imagine like early in the game, you're just using all that wood until it just.
I know. I still play the game.
Yeah,
I played it Friday.
Chris,
F you and the D.
Then you should know it was already out.
This is Sean's news.
I might have had a few. You will now have the ability to build through larger objects like trees, rocks, and vehicles. Accurate. The goal is to prevent these objects from unexpectedly blocking your building placement, but the flexibility it offers could create room for some brand new strategies, I bet. The 4th update changes Fortnite's network code to make it so picking your building piece doesn't have to go through Epic's servers. And now 60 frames per second is also the benchmark, I believe, in the game.
Yeah.
It had been available, but you had to hunt for it.
One thing that we found that is weird from the update is the auto run feature.
Yeah.
You now have to go in and cut it off, and it can really mess you up the first time you have to do that.
Is it like, are you saying, because before it was like you just double tapped and he would start doing the auto run?
It's a thing that happens and you don't stop running.
Oh, wow.
Like it's crazy. But in addition to all that, there's, of course, a brand new battle pass.
Yeah.
Which has been expanded instead of level whatever it was last time. I think it goes all the way up to like
90 something.
90, almost 100. It's a lot bigger. And they've introduced new skins,
more
new characters. It's really cool. I messed up because when the battle passes come out, you can choose to buy the $9.99 standard battle pass. But it also gives you a discounted battle pass that gives you more.
I might have done that.
Locks or unlocks
because I really wanted to look like one, I had been drinking. 2, I really wanted to look like I was
from Destiny or
from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
either
the Rocketeer or the Guardians of the Galaxy guy. Yeah,
I think like even says it's like something killer like him.
The last guy you get,
John Wick.
Yeah, it's straight up John Wick. It's John Wick. But
John.
He's the last guy you would get if you tried to either
have
your
friends
way
of the show already bought him.
I don't know. I don't unless they just.
I was thinking last Friday,
couple,
given what happened last Friday, right, for us, without spoiling anything for the listeners, and the fact that came out Friday, I was thinking, like, there's no way he didn't. There's just no way he didn't, but I don't know.
I don't think he has, and to refresh you guys, on that, the way the Battle Pass works is you buy it, and then you are able to unlock additional things that regular leveling up you can't get. We have friends who will go ahead and purchase each tab to just get everything at once.
Sure.
And they eliminate the whole grinding aspect of it. So, but we've had fun. The game looks great. Epic is really, they're really handling the game very well.
I mean, there's a reason why they're taking over, and it's not because they suck.
Yeah,
it's because they know how to make great mechanics. New details on Biomutant have emerged. The upcoming open world RPG trailer shows gliding wings, a jetpack, which allows ground pound abilities, a power fist that can be used for dashing attacks, and a bow that fires arrows that the user can grab onto. There's also mentioned the use of mechs to survive in certain parts of the world. Another thing that has been touted is player freedom, the ability to combine powers and bionics to create your own ability combos, and to leverage mechanics to do things the developer did not think possible. Well, that's always a good thing.
Have you seen any footage on this?
I have. I remember they showed this at the PlayStation Experience. It's kind of like...
It's starting to get my attention.
Yeah, it's...
because of a jetpack?
I don't know...
Yes.
I don't know the actual studio is making it. I know it's THQ Nordic who's producing it.
Done. It's bought.
It reminds me a little bit, like at first glance, like the style at least reminded me a little bit of Ratchet and Clank.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I don't know. Mechanic wise, maybe not so much. But we'll see. I'm kind of like sitting back and like we'll see where that ends up. I hope it's good. I would play it. I like bios and mutants and open worlds. Bionics.
I like ground pounding.
I'll give you something ground pound. Wait, what?
Gee, what?
Metal Gear Survive expensive feature. Ooh, looks like Konami has figured out a way to get more money out of you outside of the $39.99 price tag for Metal Gear Survive. Players have access to just one save slot, while 3 more character slots are locked behind an in-game currency purchase. That is not sitting well with 2 people who are playing this game. There's 2 people playing this game?
He's implying that like 2 people bought the game and are playing it.
Okay, gotcha. Purchasing additional character slots requires spending SV coins, the game's currency. It costs 1,000 SV coins to unlock a save slot. You can buy 1,000 SV coins for $10. Of course, that is not the only purchase package they have. Percocet. Purchase package they have. I'm not surprised at all.
Aren't you playing this game?
I am. Maybe we can all talk about it.
We're going to talk about this later. Yeah, because
in theory, I plan to get this game tomorrow for sake.
I could just talk about playing WoW again with Josh.
We do have a thing over there we could also talk about at some point.
That could also be that.
Yeah. I don't know. But
he glossed over the fact that I said I'm playing WoW with Josh again. And so did you.
Josh,
I caught it.
I popped up. You remember how you saw me on Steam earlier?
Yeah.
I popped up just to see what it would look like, which is entirely impossible to run that game on this TV because it's too small. I popped up Age of Empires earlier, and as soon as I did, I got a text from him. So I'm like, "So you on Age of Empires?" There's 2 things that boy wants to play.
Well, as you were reading the MPD numbers, I thought to myself, and I'll pose the question.
Sure.
He or she will remain unnamed on the podcast, but if there was somebody I could get to come talk about Dragon Ball Fighter Z, would that be interesting?
It could be.
I'm down for that.
Okay,
especially if it's a
for
she.
sure.
What?
Well,
what?
I'm not sure. like, part of me wants to say I played this game just for the sake of giving it a shot, but after
Kingdom Come,
and now the reviews have dropped, and like seeing like those impressions and things, I'm like, I don't know if I want to.
I won't care about the review
game.
if it feels like it would be fun for me. And right now, I'm not sold on that game.
Everyone
you want me to message him right now?
Sure. It's either there or that device. Then I guess next week.
We'll handle this. We'll handle it.
We always handle it.
Yeah, we got
We'll
this.
find. I mean, I have no faith in us to ever find it.
You've got no faith?
Or
you
no
just
faith
said
to not find it.
You just said I have no faith in us to
I
find
have no
anything.
faith in you. Oh, wait, what? But yeah, this is. Come on, Konami. Why do you just do things to piss people off? I mean, everything.
So we're legit saying that you only have one slot to save your game.
You have one slot, and you have to either overwrite it if you want to start another game, or do it with one of the other characters, or else you have to pay them $10
for me
to save a freaking game.
I know there are people, and you may be one of them, who has multiple saves.
Exactly.
I have at the most 2 saves as I'm playing a game. One kind of like as a backup. But I have played games with just the one save file, but that was knowing that I had more if I needed them. Yeah. Going into a game like this to where you're like, I only have one, it was going to be a concern of mine from the jump.
Sure.
And then the fact that they hide it behind a $10 purchase is very sour to me.
Yeah, it's just one more of those things like that if you're a fan of Kojima, it just pisses you off because you're like, you go literally from this guy creating this game that was all about openness and doing whatever you wanted to now it's like you're to a point where you feel like the only way you can make money on the franchise is to monetize saves. That's how you're going to save this for you?
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. I mean, and this is after they sold like 6 million of the last one, so
that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Pretty
bad. Were you a Toys R Us kid? Grow up. That was the headline. Toys R Us is reportedly set to close 4% of its stores.
Should have said 44.
44% of its stores across the U.S. The Wall Street Journal reports the company will be shutting down 200 more stores. That's in addition to the 180 stores that were previously announced for closure back in January. Layoffs are set to be around 9,000 employees. The company filed for bankruptcy while struggling with a $5 billion debt. That's with a B.
Yeah,
I
know that our local Toys R Us survived the January one.
Yeah.
But this is new.
I can't imagine it's
well,
gonna
the managers at our store said that they were one of the biggest ones, not only in our area, but in the country.
They're just trying to tell themselves a lie.
We were, no,
okay.
I don't know.
I hope for our sake that, because, I mean, you pop guys, that's like one of the best hunting grounds is Toys R Us for just random things that you won't see.
Plus, I go to Toys R Us. I have a kid.
You're a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, their video game stuff to me was always kind of weird.
Yeah. It's gotten better.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I owe Toys R Us for Street Fighter 2. If it wasn't for that store, instead of going to my mother's ortho something appointment, she would drop me off at Toys R Us and I'd play Street Fighter 2 on that little demo thing for hours. But my favorite thing about Toys R Us is the occasional buy one game, get one 40% off deals. They used to have some sweet deals on video games.
Sweet. Well, we'll see how that impacts us, man. It could still be around.
I don't think that business will be around after 2 years.
I think actually, I feel like I saw that Columbus is on the cut list.
Dun 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 dun.
I feel like that's going to happen.
You feel it, feel it, feel it. Yeah, I felt that. Burnout Paradise Remastered. EA has announced that Burnout Paradise Remastered is coming to the PS4 and Xbox One. The PC version is scheduled to shortly follow afterwards. The remaster will include all the DLC, including the Big Surf Island update. The original came out 10 years ago on 360, PS3, and PC and was highly regarded. It's scheduled for release on March 16th, while Access members can start playing it on March 9th on their Xbox One. So this is big in a couple ways. One, this is the best Burnout game and maybe one of the best racing games. If probably the best arcade racing game, in my opinion, ever made. So I'm excited as heck to play this again. But two, this is big because if you remember, about 2 years ago, like in the lead up to Mass Effect, everyone was like, hey, are you going to remaster the Mass Effect trilogy? Because a lot of people thought if they did that, they put out remasters, it might pull in a bunch of people who never got to play the original.
Like
right?
me?
Yeah, sure. And they came back and Patrick Sutherland said, like, we don't want to do remasters. We don't see a benefit in them. So you have to wonder if now, like, they've popped this cherry, if the intent...
Whoa.
Right? Whoa. Really? That's where you two? That's what's offending you? That's
wow.
It? But, if they're
Hold
popping
on,
the door open...
Chris, this is a PG podcast.
When did I go?
That's a fantastic impression. We're going to go with that. I'm just going to call you tomorrow and just go,
and I'll know.
And hang up.
Because I was here.
You were here?
There you were.
Indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, send us an email and just write,
So the question is, with this open now, children,
yep.
what games do you think they might remaster?
I would almost. Well, it's funny. We have a question on Twitter
Dead Space,
that almost asked.
See?
Dead Space.
We have a question on Twitter that ties into that question.
Uh-huh.
So we'll leave it just for the EA remasters for now.
I would like them to remaster Madden 97. I really enjoyed that one.
Jeez.
I don't know.
Dead Space trilogy.
Get this
please.
game with me. Let's go play Burnout Paradise together.
I will definitely play this, especially if it looks cool.
On your Xbox One?
No, I traded that in. What do you want from me?
I'm going to burn you.
PC Master Race.
Finally this week.
By the way, my friend said he's interested.
Oh, okay.
One more time.
Finally this week. The Hollywood Reporter has announced that a live-action / CGI hybrid movie will open in theaters November 15, 2019. Neil Mortiz and his production company, Original Film, what a great title, is set to produce while Tim Miller, director of Deadpool, will serve as an executive producer. With that release date in mind, is that enough time to turn out a quality product? Probably not.
We're making the assumption that this started today.
Yeah, I'm sure it's been in development for a while, but the thing that made me go, "Oh no," was when I saw a live action / CGI.
Do you know how well that's been working for Disney? Did you miss that?
What with Disney is a live action / CGI hybrid?
All the movies.
No, those are CGI movies, or else they're
Beauty and the Beast has real people mixed with CGI.
I don't think you get what we're going.
What am I missing?
Okay, yeah, I guess you're right. Those are CGI. We're talking more think of the best thing I can think of lately is actually from Paramount. So maybe this is why they're doing it. It's the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Like something like that, or the Smurf movies. That's a great example.
And that's exactly kind of how the Disney ones are.
I don't know.
I know you don't watch Disney movies, dude. I'm sorry for bringing it up.
I watched Coco the other day. That movie is great.
We got it on tape, fellas.
Coco is great.
It is a good movie. I saw it before you.
I cried.
Did you?
Not really.
You did.
When that dog almost died?
Spoilers.
I was more so just bringing it back to what we were talking
Weren't
about.
they already technically dead, though?
Weren't they? I was like, maybe I need to care about my family after all.
Pictures. We need pictures of the walls immediately.
Right. But I read that and it just to me, I'm like, why are you doing that? If you're going to make a Sonic movie, just make a Sonic movie. But really, I would say don't make a Sonic movie because I don't think it lends itself to a movie.
You never know.
The TV show was good.
If Tails comes in and Tails is hype.
Knuckles.
With live action and CGI, the only way this works is if you get Brendan Fraser.
Oh my god.
The question is, if Sonic in this movie eats a chili dog in New York, is the chili dog CGI chili dog, or is it a real chili dog?
Exactly.
That's the vital question of
the only mixture of live action and animation, whether you want to call it animation or CGI, the only thing is Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's the only one I like.
You didn't like
Jungle Book
Michael
was
Jordan?
off the chain. Beauty and the Beast was off the chain.
I like Space Jam.
Yeah, we all like
Beauty
Space
and the Beast was not exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's more to me. That's more like Gollum.
To y'all, it can be whatever you want to.
That's like
it's live action CGI.
D.
I'm just saying.
Okay, man.
Ooh.
It's Sonic though. We know how much Sonic sucks.
Whoa. You guys are probably right. Dude.
Take that
I'll just
back.
say that.
All right. Well, let's. You guys want to wrap this up?
Never.
Electronic mail.
I was about to say, did a ball?
Can I finish my spittle? Future.
Emails, if you want to write your thoughts to us.
Oh.
If you want to write thoughts to us and let us read them for you terribly and then give you somewhat of an opinion, maybe. I don't know. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. You can write those thoughts to weeklygameschat@gmail.com. That's weeklygameschat@gmail.com. Just like RJ did. He writes in and says, hey, guys.
Hey, RJ.
RJ here.
Yeah.
Haven't wrote in a while, so I thought I'd write to say, hey. So 2 things. 1, do you guys ever have a moment where you play a game for a while, then stop playing and trade it in only to feel the need to play it later? That's called my life, RJ. He said, yeah, I've had that 3 times now. And second, don't know if you're Kingdom Hearts fans, but did you see the new trailer and the coming in 2018 at the end? Yes, I've been waiting since 2005, and it's finally almost here. Anyways, game on, guys.
Game on, RJ.
RJ, I'm sorry it got delayed.
Yeah, I was supposed to say, I don't want to get your hopes up, RJ, but I'm about 90% certain that game gets delayed again.
On your other point, all my friends make fun of me because I bought the original Destiny 4 times.
Yeah, you have.
I buy all the Call of Duties at least twice.
What'd you buy without opening?
Because I'll play it and go, I don't want to play it anymore. And then I go, I got to play that game again. And then I'll go get it again.
Like, they love you at GameStop.
Yeah, they
They're
do.
like,
I am the reason the trade-in program works.
they just like, you go to trade something, like you go to trade Call of Duty in, and they just look at you and
be
laugh
back.
and be like, you'll be back.
I'm the spokesperson and the poster child for the trade-in program.
Pretty much. So we actually got two that were very similar here. So I'm going to read both of them. First up was Rob. And Rob said, gentlemen,
Hi, Rob.
you were discussing the center crusade on loot boxes last on this week's podcast. And after thinking about it during my dinner with my wife, your wife. I don't understand what the big deal is. On a basic level, I don't see it any different from kids buying Magic the Gathering or Pokemon packs,
Sealed,
hoping for a rare card, or buying those blind box bag figures I see at the checkout aisle of Walmart and Target. When I was a kid, I remember sticking quarter after quarter into a capsule vending machine in the foyer of our local Kmart that sold miniature NFL team helmets, hoping to get a complete set.
Yeah.
What I actually got was a ton of duplicate Brown and Bengals helmets. I'm so sorry. God, just man.
He grew up in Ohio. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, then he's already doomed. You got the king though.
He's got LeBron.
He's got LeBron.
I mean, he broke your heart
until the end of this year.
He's gonna break it again, but still.
He's taking yours down somewhere.
J.R. Smith.
Same concept, right? You get something which at least has some value in these examples, even if it's not something you want. Latin. He said Latin.
Say the word, John. Say that word.
Caveat emptor.
Caveat emptor.
I don't know. I almost got it. I suppose
so
it's
dumb.
potentially more problematic in the sense that the physical items I referenced are easier for parents to monitor and limit than they do with digital purchases. But minors are supposed to have their parents' permission to make those purchases, and parents are contracting with Sony, Microsoft, etc. when they create the accounts for their kids. Parents would also presumably have access to their own credit card statements, where the loot box charges would show up, and any unauthorized purchases items in the last 30 days or less, the parents are responsible, which they can take care of it, is what he's basically saying.
The real issue.
Now, this opinion may ruin my own chances of a run for Senate, but I don't think we need the government intervention on this issue.
Agreed.
Rather, we need more personal accountability, which I think would argue, including parental accountability. Growing up, if I had taken my parents' credit card and used it to buy $100 of anything without their permission, I probably would be typing this email much slowly due to my lack of thumbs. Are kids going to screw up and do something stupid from time to time? Sure. I thought asking for a Sega CD for my birthday was a good idea, since I was going to become the dominant gaming platform. Hey, if it makes you feel better, I thought that it was going to be... why is my TV all of a sudden off?
Oh my God. We don't know what to do. The TV has gone out and we don't know what did you do?
I turned it off and now
Just
I'm going to
wiggle
turn it
it.
back on.
Just wiggle it a little bit.
I did. I wiggled it.
Just a little.
Just
I'm
the tip.
wiggling it.
Just the tip.
It's just
what just happened? How did we get to here so fast?
That's what she said.
I ask that all the time. I also thought the Sega CD, and more importantly, Sega Saturn would be the winner. I was totally wrong on that.
Show me how you do those icons later.
Okay. Let's see. But that's why we do our best to make sure kids are cared for by parents or other guardians. If we are on point, then that we need the federal government ensuring kids aren't spending too much trying to get the hot new Mercury skin. God
Mercy.
help us. Or Mercy. Yeah. Sorry. Thank you.
Jesus.
As always, thank you for the entertaining podcast. Keep up the good working game on. And then, in the same vein, Ryan wrote in and says, I was just wondering about this whole loot box thing that's going on in comparison to real world items. Wouldn't things like trading cards and blind bag toys also be considered gambling? Yeah, those aren't being regulated or talked about. Thanks. Just wanted to know what your opinions are. Love the show. Thug life. Your mom's box.
First of all,
Thank you,
Ryan,
Ryan.
you're awesome. Both of you guys, like Chris said, it's the same sentiment, basically.
Yeah, I was surprised that they both kind of made the same analogy. I guess the thing, like I said,
I said that last week.
Yeah, I keep playing this as like the devil's advocate. I'm not really. I don't care what they do with this, honestly. But I see where their angle is, what they're going to go for this, and the angle is this: the difference between you going to the store and buying something and having a store that's advertising to you, no matter what, that you have to be online connected to, and has big, bright, attractive things to a child and all that. it's just it's that concept of a casino. It's designed to keep you spending money. Like the best example this year, Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty added this thing this past year where you have this social space. And why is it there? It's mainly there so that when you buy loot boxes for the game, you can drop them down and they do this big, huge opening presentation and everyone who's in the area sees it happen. And why do they do that? Because if something cool pops out of it, it's likely to entice you to go back into the store and spend more money.
You mean in the same way that they have the beautiful big gumball machine that has the helmets in it that you can see?
Sure.
They couldn't have painted a better picture of the point that even if you're playing devil's advocate, those are super valid. They apply to real world things, and that's exactly what you're doing.
But again, what you're talking about is a thing where you walk into a store and it's there versus whenever you just play something. No matter what, it's always there. And it's targeting.
You still have a chance to either get what you want or not get what you want.
And I would argue this. I would say
you
that
don't have a kid.
The bigger thing, well, I have friends who have kids.
The whole point.
And the bigger thing I would point to is it's going to be mobile games, if anything, they build this case on. Because, for instance, our friend in the show, Jeff, his son has had games. He doesn't have any concept of money, and he's done it multiple times where he's playing something.
I'm glad you brought Jeff up.
He wants more out of it. What does he do?
Moron.
No.
What did he do? He went out there and he spent money. Now, he was lucky he got
I'm
back.
glad you brought up Jeff because Jeff's son, who the whole thing we talked about was their concern, did things against Jeff's knowledge, but Jeff found out about it and he became a parent.
Sure.
And parented his son on you don't do that.
I think the point that they're moving forward, it's not so much, look, I want people to discipline their kids and make them understand, and I hope they do. It's more of like saying, if you can't do this with lottery tickets and things like that where, kids aren't allowed to gamble, they're going to challenge the same concept here. Because one, as I said, I think the biggest concern for them is, how can I make $1 off of this? That's what they want. If you can bring more money into your state by saying this is gambling, you're going to do it. And no one's going to get in your way probably because all the parents are going to be fine with it. They'll be like, yeah, good, do it. Get those kids off those stupid phones anyways. That's going to be their point.
I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that. But hey, it is what it is. We'll see how it plays out.
John, you good? He's like, I want to go home.
I'm good.
Okay. TJ wrote in and he says he just wants you to know that the last couple of episodes have been really fun to listen to, and he hasn't emailed lately because he's still recovering from the Saints loss and the Pelicans losing Cousins for the year. Boogie, rest in peace.
He didn't die.
His leg did.
His Achilles did.
Yeah. And therefore Anthony Davis is pissed.
Oh, he's not. He's like, it's fine.
Again?
It's fine.
That and the games are coming fast and furious already this year. Monster Hunter World is a beast. Game on.
Game on. Hey, we're glad you're recovering. Saints are going to be okay. Boogie's going to come back, but just play Monster Hunter. It's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you again for writing in.
Daniel writes in to say hi. It's Daniel yet again.
Hey, Daniel.
Say hey, John.
Hey, John.
Daniel.
Oh.
I pre-ordered Attack on Titan 2 for my Switch, which has been getting scratched a lot. Luckily, I brought a screen protector in the store while buying a console. I do have a list of PC parts that I'll attach at the end of the email, and I would like to know if they go together. With the new PC, when I build it, I'm going to learn code, so who knows? I might end up making games you'll play one day. Also, cool. Have any of you watched the Evil Dead series, whether it's the TV show or the original movies? Season 3 of Ash versus the Evil Dead was worth the $15 for Stars. We'll take a check. Thank you, Daniel from Stars, for promoting Ash versus Evil Dead. Also, Attack on Titan 2 comes out the same day as another game I've mentioned in the past, Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered. So there you go, John. It will be hard to wait until I get an Xbox One X later this year to get the full experience. Have any of you tried using the Xbox Design Lab to customize a controller, even if you haven't ordered it? Anyway, see you around, guys. Bye. And then he did leave his list of parts.
He PS'd as well, Chris. Don't just gloss over
I'm
that.
sorry. Yeah, P.S. My favorite character from the Black Panther was his sister. What are those? What kind of style? There you go. And then, wow, he's got a lot of parts here.
You picked an Intel chip, so you want to make sure, of course, that Asus motherboard will pick that chip in it. I think it does.
Yeah, that's
It's
the
an
classic.
Intel. Yeah, you're good on there.
He's got a graphics card. He doesn't say what kind.
Well, you don't want to
y'all
click the
doing
link.
this now?
Oh, it's a 1050.
You doing this?
We're
now?
just going to help him out because we read his email. It's here. The SSD's fine. Your power supply.
I would say
Got it. Weekly PC chat.
I can't help that you're dumb and don't know about computers.
I am dumb. Okay.
that's why he's got a Mac.
I was looking at that RAM. That looks like good RAM. That's going to be a little bit expensive, but hey, your power supply, it's okay. It works. Yeah, I think you're good to go. Everything should go together. It's a 750 watt. I was looking for the gold plated stuff, but
Yeah, he's got mid tower. He'll be fine.
yeah, that's
you're
going to be a solid build. And was it i7?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good, man.
Actually, I would say you could consider dropping down to the i5 and
Cheap
instead.
bastard.
No, the i5's fine because you could get the 4.2 gigahertz, and then instead you could take those savings, and if it's possible, it might be impossible right now, but if possible, he might be able to get himself a 1060 graphics card, which would be a
Well,
little bit more
if
up
he
to
wants to
date
take
right
out
now.
a loan on his liver.
Yeah, I know it just sucks right now. And finally, Scott apparently at 513 wrote in and says, "Hey fellas,
Hey, Scott.
John,
Scott's been active
Hey,
on the
fellas.
Twitter as well, so that's cool.
I started reading it. Sorry.
you tell him hey."
Hey, Scott.
Hope all is well. Hoping you can help me out with something. I finally bought my first 4K TV and I'm ready for a Pro or an Xbox One X. The question is, which one? I've always been a PS4 guy, own several games for it, and love its ecosystem, but the specs for the X are just sexier.
Yeah, they are.
I haven't
should
owned
take
an
it out of the
Xbox.
box.
I haven't owned an Xbox since the original, and I mean the one with the massive. Ooh, the Duke. Yeah, I used to have a Duke. Man, that thing was ridiculous. I need new games, etc. Have any thoughts? Is it worth to invest in X over Pro? FYI, I got the Switch 2 for my kiddos, and they love it. My son is a Pokemon fiend, so I rarely ever touch it, but I'm sure I'll play it eventually. Thanks again, and game on.
Game on, Scott. Thanks so much. My 2 cents, they're going to be quick because I know you're going to, John pulled the mic up. He was ready to go. If I will say this, I also am a PS4 or a PlayStation guy. So I do find myself gravitating towards the PlayStation. I just do. Chris was an Xbox guy. He's kind of, I think, both. And you own
I'm a
both.
gamer.
You're a gamer.
I just play everything. I don't care where.
The One X, that you cannot beat the specs right now for a console. It is what it is. But you're gonna have to.
I would say, Scott,
Yeah.
if you are playing online games with your friends, it makes more sense than if they're all on PS4 and you're going to play these online games with them. Then you should get a PS4 just because. You'll be fine. Yeah, I mean, with the Pro, you'll be fine. You'll get nice video and all that kind of stuff. But if you are not, if you're mainly like a solo gamer, I would say you want the best of the best out there. If that's what matters to you, if you want the thing that's going to run the best and, give you the best graphics on console and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of hard to argue against the Xbox One X.
Scott. I also have PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, so since you're only choosing one from this perspective, we'll just say that the reason I'm playing God of War on PlayStation is because that's the only console it'll be on. Other than that, if it's a multi-console release, I'm likely going forward going to be playing on an Xbox on Xbox One because it's going to be the better graphical version. That being said, like Chris said, I don't really play online, so if your big shtick is the online thing, PlayStation 4 Pro.
You know what that means? When we play Far Cry 5, we could get in a video in a chat together while we play on our Xbox One X's.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We're touching hands.
We are. Sean, retweet us up at the Twitters, aka at Weekly Game Chat Twitter.
We got a couple of the old tweeters.
Tweeters?
At Jeffrey Miller 15. He said, at Weekly Game Chat, figured you would be interested in seeing this. And gentlemen, I'm going to show you what it is. You know how much I love the Hershey's Gold. He let me know there exists a Hershey's Gold donut.
Where?
Chris, here it is.
Hey, I can make your life a little
No,
easier
you
if
can't
want.
because you don't know which ones I'm going to highlight.
The heck did you do? That's amazing.
You're welcome.
He pulled up Twitter on the big screen.
John doesn't ever go to our Twitter page. We just learned.
I also retweeted basically a great question of if you had to pick, what do you think one of your best soundtracks from a video game of all time is? I had a couple of responses from that. One of them was at Scott Skiles 1701, who said, I've got great memories of the first Halo soundtrack. And more recently, I have to give props to the Uncharted series for having great soundtracks.
Assassin's Creed 2.
You're not going to read the other one?
Josh Dalton. Yeah, Chris, do not start doing this.
It's fun to do this.
At Waits Fan, which is friend of the show, Josh, he said Final Fantasy
Look at that
7.
face.
He's so precious.
Final
He's
Fantasy
so angry.
7. Also,
Yes, that's a great soundtrack.
Scott was busy today. He sent us emails, and he also liked our tweet for me saying that Cheesy Tots are back at Burger King.
God, it's nasty.
Yeah, they are.
They're amazing, John.
No,
You're crazy.
not.
We got a couple of follows. I want to give a shout out to at Pharaoh's Law. Thanks for the follow. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we have a follow
Oh.
from Susan Bennett.
What up, Susan?
Susan Bennett, at Seriously Susan, was a voiceover artist and singer, original voice of Siri.
What?
Representation by Vox Inc. out of Los Angeles.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't. If Seriously Susan, if you didn't get your account hacked and you chose to follow us, thank you. We have the original voice of Siri following us.
There you go.
I'm just
I
saying.
used to talk to you all the time.
Yeah, we asked you questions and you answered. So thank you. And I'm following her back quick. Again, if you guys like to interact with the show in that way, we will post funny things and some things that are not funny, like cheesy tots that John hates. Chris, they can find us at Twitter at
Weekly Games Chat, or on Facebook at Weekly Games Chat, or write us in, as I said before, weeklygamechat@gmail.com. That's weeklygamechat@gmail.com. We appreciate your thoughts, especially when you tell John to shut up. So do that next week, because he's talking just way too much right now. He's looking at data. It's a foreign thing.
I like to see it.
Yeah, there it is. Look at that. You're like no context, but
Oh, it's
Yeah, I know,
just,
I know.
yeah. I'm not going to say it out loud, but yes, I see it.
But this has been, I believe, episode 142. I think that's right. I think it's 142 of Weekly Game Chat. If you like the show, you can subscribe to us on iTunes or whatever podcast service you use, and you should get a new episode every Wednesday, like the one you got right now.
Yeah.
You're like,
Happy
did
Wednesday.
Did it just happen? You're like, no, it always happens on Wednesday, unless we get sick or something happens.
But even then, usually at 12:01 a.m.
It usually posts.
Wednesday,
Yep.
you have us.
Usually. If you're there and you really like us, drop us a review or a rating. Helps people find the show so they can, find us and say, hey, these guys, they're D's, but I like it. John, you got anything?
I don't. I'm good.
John, you got anything?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, until next time, I will simply say, game on, John.
Game on, Chris.
Game on, John.
Game on, Chris. Game on, Sean.
Game on, John.
Your mom's box.
Peace out, everybody.
Hug life.